Hi, I'm Bill Hawkins, and thanks for joining us here on Fraud Watch Friday. Before we start, I want to tell you about a scam. We've been notified that there's an imposter scam in Alabama, and folks are getting calls saying that AARP and other reputable businesses such as Walmart and the Publishers Clearinghouse are giving money away. And I want you to know that AARP Alabama is not sponsoring any sweepstakes or grand prize drawings. So if you get a call like that, it's a fraud. Hang up. Don't become involved. So today we are joined by Bob Nickel. Bob is a volunteer with the AARP Fraud Watch Network. Bob brings to his work at AARP 20 years as a federal criminal investigator. And Bob, I wanted to ask you, we've seen the headlines, and what do we need to know about ransomware? What is it?
Well, ransomware has been in the headlines a lot lately, Bill, with the Colonial Pipeline hacking and this
Mhm.
recent hacking by a group known as R Evil out of Russia, where they hacked into thousands of people's accounts through a
Mhm.
computer billing organization. So it is making it in the news, but what is it and what do we need to worry about? Well, ransomware is computer software that's designed to seize control of a targeted computer and lock out the user by encrypting their files. There's also another way that they do it where they call a denial of service attack, where a bunch of requests for service to a website are put in automated through like an automated intelligence type thing, and it overwhelms the website and shuts it down. In either case, it's designed to make a website or a computer unusable, and then it's followed up with a ransom, and that's why they call it ransomware, where the person that put the virus on there requests money, usually in an untraceable format such as
Mhm.
prepaid gift cards.
You mentioned the pipeline scam. That's obviously a big business. Do people who operate personal computers need to be aware of ransomware and be concerned about it?
Yes, they do, Bill. It's not just big companies that are targeted by this, although the big companies are the ones that make the news headlines, like with Colonial, because they extorted $5 million from them.
Mhm.
But there's plenty of other instances in which these scammers have targeted individual PC users.
Mhm.
Starting back in 2012, there was a scam known as the FBI Money Pack virus, where individual PC users would receive a fake FBI warning message that their computer was infected with a virus, and they'd have a 1-800 number on their call. And when they called it, they got the scammers, and the scammers would go ahead and basically hold them ransom. They'd had to pay a ransom in order to get their use of their computer back again.
Wow, that's terrifying, Bob, and I know it's scary. So, if I am an average person, what can I do to protect myself from ransomware?
Well, first of all, you just need to use common sense when you're on.
Mhm.
Whenever you're online, you're vulnerable to possible ransomware attacks. So some of the guidelines you need to follow is first and foremost, never open any attachments in an unsolicited email. If somebody sends you an email and you don't know who they are,
Mhm.
especially if there's an attachment, do not open it because that's usually what contains the virus that will take control of your computer and wipe out your memory. Also, you want to disable pop-ups on your PC. That's a setting you'll find under the control section where you can disable
Okay.
those pop-ups. You also want to make sure that your computer, no matter what it is, whether it's a big mainframe or a PC, you got to make sure you have software on there, and that not just that you have the software, but that the security virus protection is updated with the latest virus definitions. These things change every day, so if you don't update it at least on a weekly basis, you're opening yourself up to potential hackers.
Okay. All right.
You also want to make sure that you back up your computer hard drive and set up automated system restore points. Because if these people do get control of your computer in the worst situation where you can't get access to it again, at least if you have a backup and you get a new computer, you can reconfigure it just like your old computer and be back in business again. You might also want to consider using what they call a virtual private network or a VPN. These are software that basically puts a barrier between you and the internet so that
Mhm.
people can't see the information specific to your computer, and it makes it harder for hackers to get access. Speaking of access, never give anyone remote access to your computer. If someone calls you claiming to be from
Mhm.
Microsoft or something like that and says that they want to fix a bug in your computer and they want you to grant them access, do not do it, because once you do that, you don't know what they're going to do. And I'm
Okay.
telling you, Microsoft doesn't do that normally. They'll never initiate the instance where they get access to your computer. You're the one that initiates it when you contact them for support.
Okay. Bob, that's really great information. And it's a issue of which we all need to be aware. But what should you do if you have become the victim of ransomware? What action should folks take?
Well, if you become a victim, don't just be a victim. Help others that may have, so that they don't fall prey to it as well. By number one, reporting it to the correct authorities, your local state police or FBI. The Federal Trade Commission has a website at reportfraud.ftc.gov, where if you report it, it goes into a database that tracks all these frauds nationwide and helps out others to avoid the same thing. And also, to keep up to date on the latest frauds and scams, you really should review the AARP Fraud Watch Network website. They update it on a nearly daily basis. And when new frauds come out, that's the first place you'll usually hear about it.
Right. Well, Bob, I want to thank you for being with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we are winding up our short program today, but I do want to remind you of what I said about the scam that's going around now, that AARP, representing that AARP and reputable businesses are trying to give away money, and they'll ask for your bank account information. That's a scam. Don't do it. So again, as Bob said, look at the Fraud Watch helpline information at the bottom of this screen, and thank you for joining us today.